actually interesting. The Barts had an environmental health unit, which actually played a major role in identifying the London smogs as a key driver of deaths and introduction of the Clean Air Act. Those involved in that basically looked around and saw the clean air and said, "That's fine. We've won." And yeah, it took epidemiologists mainly, and often in the States, to point out about this peculiar and very unfortunate effect that small concentrations of fine particles getting deep into the airway, plus the gases, nitrogen dioxide and oxides, have significant effects, both short and long term. The evidence, I think, for example, for asthma, really clarified maybe from 10 years ago. So, I mean, and it was very clear then that asthma was made worse. Causation maybe, 8 years ago or so. So this is relatively short, but I mean, the data was very clear. And what just didn't happen was translating that into really effective action. Even if we look at the guidelines for asthma, even now, they talk about, well, air pollution might be something, but it's certainly not as bad as something else, which is really giving completely the wrong message. So, I mean, even in the most fundamental point about things that guide our action have got it wrong. And it's a time for us now to sort of really stand up and demand that those things that guide health professionals, the way they give advice, has to change. We can't say any longer that air pollution is trivial. It might be relatively trivial for someone who's sitting in the Yorkshire Dales and breathing relatively clean air, but for the vast majority of children living in conurbations, urban conurbations, is a huge, huge problem.